You know that feeling? You're drowning in all these super complex recipes, but your cooking, it just isn't quite hitting the mark. So what if I told you the secret to incredible food isn't in some fancy new cookbook? What if it's right here with the skills you can master today? Yeah, because here's the thing. Great food, truly amazing food, doesn't come from a long, complicated ingredient list. It's all about confidence. It's about having a solid technique. So today, we're going to strip it all back to the basics. We're diving into the core skills that are the foundation of, well, pretty much every incredible dish you can imagine. And our guide for this? A classic Arabic cookbook. We're talking timeless wisdom here, not just the latest trend. Okay, so here's the plan. First, we'll master the knife. Then, we'll get confident with proteins. After that, we'll build those deep flavor foundations. And finally, we'll put it all together. Simple as that. All right, let's dive right in. I mean, think about it. Almost every great savory dish you love starts in the exact same place, right here, on a cutting board with some basic vegetable prep. Okay, first up, the onion. The absolute key here is getting a uniform dice. Why? So everything cooks nice and evenly. So after you peel and have it, watch this. This is the clever bit. You make these fine vertical slices, but, and this is important, you don't cut all the way through the root. See how that holds it all together for you? Then you just slice across and boom, a perfect dice. Ever wonder how restaurants get those unbelievably silky smooth tomato sauces? Well, here's the secret. It's called blanching. You just give the tomatoes a quick, 30-second dip in boiling water. That's all it takes. The heat shocks the skin and, look at that, it just peels away effortlessly. No more chewy, tough bits of skin ruining your sauce. All right, artichokes. I know, they can look a little intimidating, right? But trust me, prepping them is surprisingly simple. First, you just snap off all those tough, dark green outer leaves. Keep going until you see the lighter, more tender ones. Then, just trim the top and the stem. Now, for the most important part, grab a spoon and scoop out that fuzzy stuff inside. That's the choke. You don't want to eat that. And just like that, the heart is all prepped and ready to go. Next up, the potato. I mean, this is a true kitchen MVP, right? And it seems so simple, but the way you cook it completely transforms the final result. So let's break down the two most basic methods, boiling versus baking. So it really just comes down to what you're trying to do. If you want that super soft, consistent texture that's perfect for mashing, boiling is your friend. But if you're dreaming of that classic steakhouse baked potato, perfectly fluffy on the inside with a crispy skin, then baking is absolutely the way to go. No contest. Okay, feeling good about our veg prep? Let's step it up a notch and talk about proteins. Now, I know this is where a lot of home cooks get a little nervous, but honestly, with just a couple of basic techniques under your belt, you are going to feel completely in control. Let's talk about breaking down a whole chicken. It's usually way cheaper to buy it whole, right? But the big question is, how do you cut it up? Well, it all depends on what you're making. Do you need 4 pieces or 8? Are you grilling big halves, or do you need smaller pieces for frying? So here's that classic 8-piece cut. This is what you want for things like fried chicken or a stew where everyone gets their own piece. You get 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs, 2 wings, and the breasts split in half. It's perfectly portioned every single time. But what if you're roasting the chicken whole? Well, there's one simple step you absolutely cannot skip: trussing. All it means is tying the bird up with some kitchen twine. Why bother? Because by making it a neat, compact little package, you guarantee it cooks evenly. The wings and legs are tucked in, which stops the breast meat from drying out before the thighs are cooked. The result? Super, super juicy meat. Okay, filleting a fish. This looks like a pro-level skill, but really, it's just about following a few simple steps. Once the fish is clean, you make your first cut right behind the gills. Then, and you'll want a sharp, kind of flexible knife for this, you just glide the blade right along the backbone all the way from the head to the tail. Then, with a gentle lift, the fillet just comes right off the bones. It's that simple. Now, here is a tiny little step that makes a huge difference: deveining shrimp. You see that dark line running along the back? That's actually its digestive tract. Yeah, so making a little shallow cut and pulling that out is absolutely crucial. It's what gives you that clean, sweet flavor and makes sure you don't get any gritty texture. Don't skip this. Okay, let's talk dried legumes. They can be a little tricky because you can't treat them all the same. Lentils, they're the easy ones. Just give them a quick rinse and they're ready to cook in about half an hour. But for the bigger guys, like chickpeas and fava beans, you have to plan ahead. They need a good, long soak. We're talking 24 hours to rehydrate before they're even ready to be cooked. All right, we've prepped our veggies, we've prepped our proteins. Now it's time to build the flavor, the very soul of the dish. This next part is all about creating those deep, rich foundations with things like homemade stocks and perfectly cooked grains. Seriously, forget the stuff in the box. Real, homemade chicken stock is so simple. All you need is some chicken, a whole bird works, or even just leftover bones from a roast. Cover it with water and toss in a few veggies like onion and celery. Add some peppercorns, maybe a few herbs, and that's literally it. And then you just let it simmer away for a few hours, and this is what you get. It's pure liquid gold. I mean, look at that. It's a rich, deeply flavorful base that will make your soups, your stews, your sauces, everything taste a million times better. This right here is a total game changer. And speaking of making things taste better, let's talk about rice. Here is the foolproof way to get perfect, fluffy rice every single time. First, and this is a key step, toast the dry rice in a little oil or butter for a minute. It adds this amazing nutty flavor. Then add your water, usually twice as much water as rice. Bring it to a rolling boil, then immediately, and I mean immediately, drop the heat as low as it can go, slap on a tight-fitting lid, and walk away. Don't touch it for about 20 minutes. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We've just walked through the absolute fundamental techniques that are the building blocks of all good cooking. See, this was never about learning one specific recipe. This is about building your very own kitchen toolkit. Just think about everything we've covered. You now know how to handle a knife with confidence. You can prep all kinds of proteins like a pro. You know the secret to making rich, flavorful stocks from scratch. And you've got a surefire method for perfect grains every single time. This is your new foundation. So, what does all this mean? It means you now have the power to truly elevate your cooking. You've unlocked the secret to making food that isn't just good, it's memorable. You've mastered the fundamentals. So there's really only one question left to ask. What are you going to make first?